Alright, so after being rudely interrupted by the telephone, let's get back to our registration. Okay, as part of the registration group, it will tell you the restrictions on this program restricted to male participants, baseball's for boys, softball is for girls, born on or after and before these particular dates. So your child's date of birth must fall between those dates. Okay, so if your child qualifies, go ahead and click on continue. And it will now ask you to log in. So if you are new to Rockford Little League, you're not a member yet, so you will need to create an account. Click on the create account, and it's going to ask you for your email address. So in this case, I'm going to use one of my test email addresses. Okay, and then what does it say? Enter email address and click create my account to get started. Alright, so now it says, heads up, we just emailed you a link to reset or create a password. So now we need to go check our email and see if Rockford Little League sent us something. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to check my email, and sure enough, there we are. There's our link. Click the link below to reset your password. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to click this link, and we're going to set up a new password. So this is just a temporary password just to get in. So I'm going to make it something easy for the moment. RLL 2013. And we have to confirm it. RLL 2013. And we could click submit. Okay, password reset has been successful. So I'm going to close this window. I'm going to go back to my sign-in window, and now we're going to use that password, RLL 2013. And click on continue, and my web browser wants to save this password. I'm not going to do that. And now you'll notice that you are allowed to set up a guardian account, a parent account. Okay, so this is for you, the parent. So I'm going to set this up. And our address, I1 Baseball Lane. So each field that is marked with a red asterisk is a required field and must be filled in. So I'm just putting in junk data for purposes of illustration. Alright, so verify that each and every red asterisk field is filled in as you go. Okay, now it's asking us to set up a new password. Passwords are stored encrypted in the system, but we do want to choose a decent password, something that can't be easily guessed. So it's up to you what you do here. Alright, so now down here at the bottom, this is very important to pay attention to. Okay, it's trying to tell you some information. Drop-down menu can be used to indicate whether you want the information to be used. Private means no one other than the club. Administrators can view the information. Roster indicates that this information can be displayed on the team rosters. And public means it's available to everyone. So for example, your telephone number up here, public, that means everyone can see that number. Roster means only the team can see it that your child gets assigned to. Private means no one can see it but me, the information officer, and you. So it's up to you how you want to set these, but just be aware. Next, do you want to add another parent or guardian? So if you want to set up an account for your spouse, you may check this box and then click on submit. If you don't want to set up your spouse, then do not check that box and simply click submit. Okay, so I'm going to click the submit button. Now, just before you be very careful. Now look, now we are setting up a participant or a player. Okay, this is for a minor child. So notice that it kept all of your last name, kept the last name, kept the address, telephone information, and it kept the email address. So now you fill in your child's name. I'm going to say RLL Junior first. Okay. Now, I would recommend that you remove the email address for your player. You have to choose the sex of the child. I'm going to make him a male in this particular case. And that date of birth. Remember, that date of birth here must fall within that range that we were given in order to qualify for the minor division. So I'm going to put in a date of birth, my child's date of birth. And this is going to fall within those. If I make it something that falls outside of that date range, it will not allow me to register my child. All right. So here I've chosen a date, for illustration purposes, that falls within that date range, so it will allow me to register my theoretical child here. Okay, once again, it's warning you that the information that you put here, notice that it changed it, instead of public, it changes it to roster for the child. You may also choose this private, but I wouldn't recommend it, otherwise the coach can't see it. That's why it changes it to roster, so that the coach can see the child's contact information. Alright, so once you're done, click on Submit. And now you have set up your family account. Now, in Rockford Little League, we need some additional information on children for the coaches. So, for example, if you have a scanned copy of your birth certificate, you can upload that here, or you can upload it later. You don't have to do it at this particular time, but for all new players, we do need to see and verify their birth certificate. So at some point you need to upload this, but you do not have to do it right at this moment. That's why it's not a required field. Alright, so required fields are hospital preference for your child, physician name, Dr. Spock, physician's telephone number 616-555-1234. Medical issues. This is very important. So, for example, if your child has an allergy, for example, to bee stings, we need to know about this. Okay, this is important information. This information here gets printed out and put in the coach's binder so that the coaches are aware of medical issues related to a player. So you must, if they have it, you really do need to fill this out. If they have no medical issues, then just type in none. It is a required field. It requires you to put in something there. Next, this is where you specify the uniform size for your child. And notice here that parents are expected to volunteer at the concession stand in the Rockford Little League. If you would like to volunteer as a coach or an assistant coach, you can choose one of those options here. And notice if you choose a coach, it says if you're interested in coaching, you must fill out an additional form on the registration.rockfordlittleleague.com page. And last but not least, parents' favorite field. This field here is for you to put in requests to the board members. So, for example, my son Johnny would like to play with Coach so-and-so, or suppose I'm signing up 2 children here and they're the same age. Johnny and Jack, I need them to play on the same team for carpooling reasons or something to that effect. This is the spot where you would put in those types of requests. When you're done, you simply click on Submit and you have completed the registration for that child. Now here this year you can pay online with Visa, MasterCard, or American Express, or you can send a check to Rockford Little League, and there's the address for it. Okay. And as always, you can always go in and change all of this information up until the registration ends. So if you want to pay by credit card, you simply click on the PayPal, and that will take you to PayPal's website. You do not have to have a PayPal account to use a credit card. You can go on there and just submit your credit card number and information and pay for the registration right there. So at this point, once you've paid for your registration, you're essentially all done unless you want to register another child. And if you do, simply use the button here at the bottom that says back to registration. Okay, and that will allow you then to choose if you're registering another child for majors or something like that, then you can begin the registration process again. Once you're all done with all that, you can edit your information in your account at any time by, edit my account. You can log in using your email address and the password that you set up. And you'll see your family account. There's your account, the parent, the guardian account, and your children, RLL Junior Sports. There's the registration that this child is signed up for. This is the date that he signed up. Excuse me. This was the cost of the registration. I didn't pay it at the time I signed up. I might have sent in a check, or I can simply pay now. I can click on the PayPal here if I want to pay all of my children at once. So you can pay each individual registration if you wish as you make them, or you can wait until the very end, go back into your account, and pay for all of your children's registrations by clicking on the PayPal. And that will take you off to the PayPal site so that you can use a credit card. So that's how you register for the Rockford Little League. Again, I encourage you to read the information on the registration page. I promise you that almost all of your questions can be answered on there. So example here, this is the PayPal website. Again, I said you did not have to have a PayPal account. This is for people who already have a PayPal account. If you do not, you simply click on this link here, and it will allow you to simply use a credit card without creating a PayPal account. So we try to make it very, very easy on you this year to pay online, register online, and all of the information that you will likely need is online.